Hey guys, it's time for my April wrap-up. So for the month of April, I read only 4 books, 2 of which were library books, 2 of which I owned / bought during the month, which you'll see more of in my book haul. They were all 5-star books, surprisingly, but I was just a bit lazy this month and a bit distracted by social media and various video games, so I just all around didn't get much reading done. But yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna go in the order that I read them and just like tell you about what I thought about them, since there's not a lot of them, so I have time to do that. The first one was The Rook by Daniel O'Malley. This is the first book in the Czech Files, and it's about a woman named Myfanwy Thomas. And pretty much the whole gist of it is at the beginning of the book, she wakes up in the middle of a London park surrounded by dead bodies who all have latex gloves on, and she cannot remember a single thing, like, ever. Total amnesia, total memory loss, can't remember anything. And so she reaches into her coat pocket and pulls out an envelope, and it says "to me," and she opens it up, and it's Myfanwy Thomas writing the new Myfanwy Thomas, because she knew she was going to get some sort of amnesia like this. And she pretty much explains that people started coming up to her on the street and was like, "You're gonna lose everything. You're not gonna remember anything. It's all gonna be gone. You'll wake up in a park and you'll be surrounded by dead bodies." And so she started preparing for this eventually to happen by setting in place, disaster occurrence, emergency sort of backup things and whatever, and left these notes in all of her pockets and pretty much set up for, and she was really, really nice about it, too. She was like, I really understand my life is not for everybody. I can't really tell you much about it, but you can choose to continue on with it. Or I have set up a series of information banks, sort of, that if you go into my office and you upload these things, it will distract who I work for so long that you might be able to get away from them and not have to work for them anymore, and I've left you a bunch of money and stuff. And so she pretty much tells her there's 2 safety deposit boxes at this bank. You have to go to this bank and choose one. One of them will lead you to your life as an outcast runaway, and one of them will lead you back into my life. And it's really, 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 really good. It's pretty long. It's 550 pages or something. 400 pages, 500 pages, almost even. But it did not take me that long to read it because I had a standardized test the day that I was 100 pages in, and then I had a standardized test, and you are forced to be locked in the room for 5 hours regardless of how long it takes you to take the test. So it only took me an hour and a half to read the test, to take the test. So I had 3.5 hours where I had literally nothing else to do but read or stare at a wall. So I read for 3.5 hours straight, and it was intense, but I got it done that day, and I'm so glad I did. It was so good, and the cover's really pretty too, and the spine's really, really awesome. So yeah, and the worst thing about this book is that the release date for the second one keeps getting pushed back, but it has a cover now, and it's called Stiletto, and it's supposed to come out in July, I think, but it was supposed to come out last year, and then they pushed it back to March, and then now they've pushed it back to July. So hopefully it doesn't get pushed back again, but I just hope it happens soon, because it's so good. You guys really need to check this out. Oh, disclaimer, this is adult fiction. It's not YA. The second book I read this month was The Shadow Cabinet by Maureen Johnson. That is the 3rd book in the Shades of London series, which I think is going to be a quartet. I'm pretty sure there's going to be another one. I'm pretty positive. The first one is Name of the Star. It's The Name of the Star. The second one is The Madness Underneath. And then the third one is obviously The Shadow Cabinet. I can't really tell you much about the synopsis for obvious reasons, but I can tell you a little bit about the first one because I actually only read it in exactly a year ago almost. But pretty much what's it about is this girl named Rory, or Aurora, is from Louisiana. Hey, homegirl. And she gets to go to her senior year of high school, a study abroad program. So she gets to go all the way to London to do her senior year there, which is dreams right there. That would be so cool. And she starts seeing things, and these murders start happening, and they're a little bit of a nod to a past murderer in London. Can you guess who that might be? Jack the Ripper. And so she starts seeing things and discovers that she can see ghosts. What? That's a thing. Apparently it is. And it leads her on a whole long journey, and 3 books worth so far, and they're so great. Oh my gosh. They're just, I love them a lot, and they're really, really fun, and the main cast of characters is like, yes. There's a character in there who really reminds me of Bex Baxter from the Gallagher Girls series, and her name is Boo, and I think you meet her pretty early on, and like, she herself is not a spoiler, I don't think. But yeah, she reminds me of Bex a lot. Then I read In the Afterlight by Alexander Bracken, another 3rd book in a series, but this was the conclusion book to the Darkest Minds series. The Darkest Minds Never Fade in the Afterlight. I'm sure you've all heard about it. Again, 5-star book. I loved it. It took me so long to read this. I think I was in the middle of it for like 2 weeks of the whole month, and it was crazy. I think it was like subconsciously I didn't want it to be over, so I was like really procrastinating reading it hardcore. But I got it done, and it was so amazing. I'm so glad I did, but I'm also really sad that I did, but it was so good. It was so good, and it was so worth the ending too, and like Vita, girl, another one who really reminds me of Bex, like, I love them so much, and I think what happened needed to happen, and it was a good thing it did. But it was still heartbreaking. Like I said, no synopsis, it's the 3rd book, but I can tell you about the 1st book, which is pretty much the basis of this disease comes through the US, and it's like kids under the age of like 16 or something, and they either die or they get like these magical, not really magical, but like supernatural powers, and they're classified as greens, blues, yellows, oranges, or reds, and greens are just super smart and they have like an eidetic memory. Blues are telekinesis, I think it is, where they can like just think about it and it moves. Yellows are electricity, like they can like jolt things like back to life with electricity or whatever, just electricity based powers pretty much. Or oranges are mind control, so they can read your mind and influence your actions or completely take over your body or destroy your mind, or so many things that are explored throughout the books. And then reds are fire. And yeah, it's all, oh my god, it's just so good. It's so good. The 1st book took me like a day to read, and that's not a short book. Even for me, I was surprised, but it was really, really good, and you should go read it if you haven't. If you had, chat with me about it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And then the final book I read this month was the other one that I owned, and it was We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallish. I actually read this for the read-along that my best friend Sheila and I hosted. Unfortunately, Sheila was not able to finish, so that's why there's no video up, which, like I said, there would be, but I plan on doing a full book talk review kind of thing. As you can see, I was very sticky tab happy in this one. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. It was so incredible, and it was like I read like 16 pages of it like you saw in my update video the first week, and then I sat down one day, I read it throughout the day in the 2nd week and just read it all that day. It was so good. So this was really, really, really good, and I can't wait to do a full book talk with a non-spoiler and then spoiler section, and it'll be really fun, but it'll also take a lot of effort, so I don't know when it'll get up. Hopefully soon. But, oh, and this is signed, by the way. The story behind this, which I think I already told this in my update video, so if you want to know the story behind what this inscription says, then go watch the update video for the read-along. There's no spoilers in it, and I just kind of talk about the read-along and what happened, or what was going on, and which is over now, but feel free to talk to me about it. So yeah, it's signed, and I don't know if you can read it or not, but yeah. That's what it looks like. So I think that's it. I'm filming a crap ton of videos tonight because I feel like it, and I got all my homework done early, and it's only like 8:50. So I have a bunch of time. Yeah, I'm going to be filming a lot. So that was all of my April wrap up, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you read any of these books or would like to see any of these books reviewed on this channel or on my Tumblr, which I will leave down below, besides We All Looked Up, because that's gonna happen. But any of the other 3, just let me know. Comment down below or hit me up on Tumblr, like I said, Instagram. I'm not really that present on Twitter, so you'll have a better chance of getting my attention on the other websites. But I do have a Twitter as well if you want to go follow me there. All my links will be in the down bar, along with any of the books, the Goodreads links for any of the books that I mentioned, and links to the other videos that I'm going to film tonight once they're posted. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. But until then, keep reading.